Welcome back to the channel, guys. You're watching Adventure GT. I'm here with Joe and his 2012 Toyota Tacoma.
My name is Joe, and I own and operate Nomad Overlanding. We're out of eastern Iowa, which doesn't necessarily offer a lot of off-road places to run, but we go all over the United States, into Canada, even been into Mexico just a little bit. This is my 2012 Toyota Tacoma. It's our third vehicle, I guess, that we've used for overlanding and camping. It's not anything terribly modified, but it is a bit. It's got a 2.5-inch suspension system on it, Old Man Emu. It's got a refrigerator freezer in the back, good communications, a ham radio, CB, that type of thing. And it's got some other modifications to it. You don't need all this stuff to overland with, but it helps and it makes things more comfortable, more convenient sometimes. And it's just something that we like to share with folks. And we do a lot of teaching and really enjoy it. It's just one of those things that we kind of work on together, and we've traveled and seen some very interesting country, and the truck has been some places. It's made and set up for touring, not necessarily rock crawling or mud bogging or anything like that, but it has been in the mud, it has been on the rocks and in the mountains, up to 24 degrees on some trails. We don't always go aggressively off-road, but many times we do. When I got rid of the 4Runner, it had close to 200,000 miles on it. And we just simply wanted something a little bit fresher. So we started looking either for a Tacoma or a newer 4Runner. And at the time we found this one. It was a used one, had 13,000 miles on it. It belonged to a doctor, believe it or not, and I don't think it had ever seen a snowflake or a gravel road. I did send him a couple of pictures after we got most of the build completed, and he swore up and down that's not my truck. I said, it is. I said, and it's already been to some very interesting places. The truck, like I say, it's pretty much basic. I've got some storage systems in the back, the deck drawers, and a refrigerator freezer from ARB, rock sliders on it, some bar protection on the front, ARB bumper, and a winch. It's got good communications in it. It's got an onboard air compressor that we use almost daily when we're off-road. So some of those things you do absolutely need. I could sit here and actually give you a list of what's nice to have and what is absolutely necessary for off-roading. And again, you can get out there and completely get above the level of what this truck is capable of, but at the same time, this truck is my daily driver. These tires are the same size that came on it stock, except they're an inch taller. I'm not a big believer personally in the great big wide tires. They take more energy, more fuel to turn over. A lot of my friends have Jeeps, and of course everybody knows the history of Jeeps. You know, they say they'll go anywhere. Many trips, this truck has been the same places those Jeeps have been, with these smaller tires, so to speak, as well as pulling an off-road trailer. However, this is, like say, the TRD off-road. It's got rear lockers in it. It's got A-track in it. It's got a number of other different, options for traction. And it's got a lower gear case, which I am a huge fan of, especially if you're going to be doing some fairly serious off-road. Steep hillsides, mountains, passes, trails. This truck has been on Black Bear Pass in Colorado and barely even touched the brakes going down the mountain. Put it in low side, first gear, and she just creeps down. Put your traction control on. I'm not quite sure how all some of that electrical and those options work, but they do work. So it's an amazing thing what these trucks can do. This rear bumper comes from a place in California. There's a variety of choices out there. This one is All Pro. Like I say, it comes from a place in California, and at the time it just seemed to suit our needs. It does take a little bit more maintenance than maybe some of the other ones that you could get. It's solid, it doesn't rattle, it seems to work well. I did have to disassemble it and put in grease zerks so that the dual swing out would operate continuously and smoothly. Once you start putting things on top of your vehicle, you need to be very careful of not being top heavy, keeping your center of gravity as low and as stable as possible. We just have quality, good roof racks. This is a Bush Company tent. It is a clamshell style tent. This is our third tent, and it's probably our favorite so far. It's very easy and quick to set up. It's very stable. It's also very comfortable in a downpour. It has been in some storms. Then we also use our awning. The tent is not always your favorite place to be in a storm. So if you've got a place you can sit down and relax and enjoy the rain, so to speak. More than once we've had several people under this awning, sitting there in rain gear with a campfire, an LP fire sometimes going, because there are fire bans from time to time. But those types of things make life a lot more enjoyable, a lot more comfortable, and therefore a lot more fun. You can buy pre-made and pre-packaged recovery gear sets. I use Bubba ropes. I've got a 20-foot and a 30-foot. For the most part, where we travel, I use the 30-foot. It just gives you a little bit more room, a little bit more reach if somebody's in a mud hole, or if they're on a rock ledge, or whatever the case may be. The kinetic ropes are amazing. You can have a small vehicle pull out a much larger vehicle. Basic recovery is not that terribly difficult, but when I put my kits together, I build my own kits, and that way I can have in there any type of equipment that I want. Snatch blocks, soft shackles, hard shackles, steel shackles, whatever it may be. I come from a background of being a medic in the field for many, many years. I built my own and put my own first aid kit together. Our rule of thumb is we never want to get the red bag out, but we have had to on occasion. So that's all you have to do is be prepared. Talk to somebody in that field if you're not familiar with setting up your own kit. The best thing I can tell people, especially when it comes to recovery, the first rule of thumb is not to get stuck. But that doesn't always happen, even with the most experienced. Things can happen. You might have to get from point A to point B, and that's your only route. So just try to be as prepared as possible. We've got a set of the deck drawers in here. One side's the kitchen box, stove, pots and pans, a few dry goods, things like that. Very worthwhile. And then we have this side, which is all just tools. There's solar panels, extra jump starter here, just tools and equipment, a little bit of fishing gear. We always have a fly rod or two in the truck. So, and this is our fridge. My wife is very short, so it's got a tip so that she can actually get inside and get whatever she wants out of it. But the slider I put together and made myself. You can actually buy the sliders for the ARB fridges, which works great. Just try to learn how to pack everything so that you can get to it when you want. The things that you don't use very often, put them back in a corner or in the back of the drawer, or something like that. So the refrigerator runs off of a secondary battery. We can run the fridge probably 3 to 4 days without recharging. It'll charge going down the road. We can hook solar to it, and so it works quite well. This is 23-0. This is a shower room, bathroom, changing room. With this style of tent, what you see is what you get for a platform, for a footprint. So with our other tents, they unfolded, and you could have an area where you could drop a tarp down or an annex or whatever. But this comes right out, very easy to deploy, and you don't have to worry about packing it away. This is our recovery equipment. This is our jump kit for our first aid. This is a bag also for, this is our air inflation tire system. Hose, gauges, air down tools, various things like that.
So let's go ahead and talk about a couple things that you hate about your Tacoma. There's got to be something that irks you, or a couple of things that just make that grind your gears.
Well, the Tacomas get reasonable. It's got a V6 in it. I would love to have a Toyota Hilux, you know, the cousin to the Tacoma, but unfortunately you're not going to get those here in the States unless they're, I think they have to be 20 or 25 years old to bring them in. The mileage doesn't impress me very much. It wasn't bad when the truck was stock, but obviously it's not stock anymore. It's raised up, it's carrying a lot of weight just with basic equipment on it. So the gas mileage is not my best like, or you know, it's a kind of a dislike with the vehicle. We've done some amazing trips from coast to coast, the Trans-American Trail. It's been to Alaska. So far this truck has been backed into 3 different oceans, Atlantic, Pacific, and the Arctic. My wife usually goes with me for the most part. She's one of the best navigators I've been around. We've been together a long time. We've camped and been outside most of our married lives together. And it's just something after, you know, we kind of got into this more and more all the time that we just thought we'd offer to other folks. And we offer workshops and vehicle recovery, everything from camp cooking to many things dealing with overlanding. It's just letting people know that this stuff is out there and that anybody can do it. You don't have to have a fully built rig. In one of our workshops, one of our oldest students was in her early 70s, and she simply had never been camping before, and she wanted to pick up her sister here in Iowa, and they wanted to camp their way from here to California to see their other sister. She was very interested in setting up dome tents, what type of cooler they needed to take with them, what type of campsites or campgrounds they could go to. And she was actually took 2 classes, and as far as I know, she went to California with her sister to visit the other family, and I never did hear back from her, but she was very interested in the class, and all she was driving was just a small compact car. You can load everything that you need for a weekend or a few days in an Army duffel bag. Army surplus sometimes has those items that will make a weekend very easy and very possible to do. If you're packed up other than your groceries, many times you can go on a moment's notice, whether it be to Wisconsin or parts of Iowa or Colorado or the Arctic Ocean in Canada. It just depends on what you want to do, where your imagination takes you.
All right, guys, that's all about Joe, his 2012 Overlanding Tacoma. And if you want to see more about him, his business, Nomad Overlanding, you can go ahead and check him out. Do you have anything else you want to plug?
We help people with overlanding questions. One of our private workshops was with someone who just recently bought a 5th wheel and a brand new 3/4 ton truck. So camping in general, we can help out quite a bit with that. We're experienced with trailer towing, with off-road conditions, vehicle recovery, many aspects of just overlanding, whether it's camp cooking or vehicle modifications. We can give you some ideas, some places to go, and hopefully you get out there and enjoy it. And that's what it's really all about.
Go check out nomadoverlanding.com. Otherwise, we're going to put some other build videos that we've done, some more off-road overland videos for you guys to check out. Otherwise, this is Jake, and I'll catch you later.
Bye.
So you're saying that you should probably buy a vehicle that was designed to go off-road instead of something that was never designed to go off-road and been modified a bunch?
You can modify anything.